Hi, I wanted to follow up on the video I did right before. I'd made a comment at the end of it about how people with narcissistic personality disorder don't really see people as people. We see them and experience them purely as experiences. And I wanted to follow up on that, and I also wanted to expand on that. And it reminded me of an answer I gave of a question that someone asked me on another forum, and so I'm going to read it and then also speak about it a little bit. This is really in response to how do narcissists do with the memories that they make inside of relationships, and how do we actually experience you all when we're in relationship with you? So this was my reply. I barely remember anything from any of my relationships when I was an active and untreated person with NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. All I remembered was how I felt in the relationship. And by how I felt, I don't mean how happy or in love I felt. No. I mean how being around that person made me feel. Did they give me enough attention? Were they a source of fun or money or importance? Did I feel excitement with them or special? And when I say they, I don't mean they like one experiences an actual person. I never experienced people that way. I only experienced people through me, through the feeling that being with them provided for me. At the time, they were not actual people to me. They were experiences. Also, I never had memories at the time like, oh, I miss the way they smell, or I miss the way we talked, or I love waking up with them. Never. No, not ever. Not once. At the time when I was done with a person, I would leave and literally never think of any of them again. Now, do people from that time remember almost everything from our relationship? Yes. I've spoken to people I was involved with at the time, the ones who will talk to me, and they remember things I said to them word for word, moments I looked at them in a certain way, or how I made them laugh. And they wax rhapsodic about things between us. And for me, at the time, it's like I have amnesia. I don't remember anything. It's like they're talking about a movie I never heard of or went to. And the reason why I feel that way is because I was never actually in any of those relationships. When they were in a relationship with me, they all thought that they were interacting with an actual person, when in all that time, they were actually interacting with a chimera. Someone who was just disparate parts that came together. I want to expand a little bit about that. Because a lot of people who are involved with those of us with narcissistic personality disorder don't understand how passionately and intensely the relationship feels and how real it feels, and how a person who has this disorder can just walk away. As I said in this answer that I gave, we feel really intensely about you when you're in the room. We don't actually have a whole object relation or object constancy. Whole object relation, if you look it up, whole object relation is where we see you as a full, whole human being with your own needs and your own wants and your own life and your own thoughts. We never had that developed. It was never developed with us and within us. And so we don't actually have that as a place to start from when we look at you and deal with you. And then the other thing is that we don't have object constancy. Object constancy is like genuinely good feelings that stay consistent even when we get our feelings hurt. Have you ever been around a child that when you do something, like take, for instance, you ever seen those like funny memes where a child is having a meltdown or a tantrum because of something random that is happening? That's how it is on a certain level in a person with NPD and in our psyche. What happens is that something will happen that will hurt our feelings, and it could be anything. It's really what happens when we get our feelings hurt is that it has somehow reminded us, it has brought up the shame, and it's deep-seated shame that we have, that we are, first of all, that the shame we had when we were a child, but also that we don't have a real psychological self to draw on. We don't even know that we feel that way. And so when that comes driving up, we get very, very angry, and it scares us, and we blame you like a child. We just don't know how to handle those feelings. We don't have any self to actually handle those feelings. And so you are an experience. You are not a person. If, like a child, you are someone who makes us feel joy, then you are joy to us. If you are someone who makes us feel good about ourselves, then you are the thing that makes us feel good about ourselves. A drug, a toy, a thing, an object. We actually don't have the capacity to feel otherwise for you. And so we can have very intense feelings that feel very real. They are real in that moment. And when that moment is gone and you are gone, that whole thing is gone as well. That is not maybe good news in the sense that you thought you were in a relationship with a real person, and you are, except that you're in a relationship with a person who just is incapacitated, limited. That's why it drives people crazy. Because in your brain and in your process, you feel and think in a more whole and holistic way. And you assume rightly that the person you're dealing with is the same. And they didn't tell you that they're not, because they don't know that they're not. So that's what I wanted to talk about, was about how people who have narcissistic personality disorder, and even borderline personality disorder, but especially with narcissistic personality disorder, we don't see you as real whole people. And we don't even know that we don't know. It's a blind spot that we're blind to. We are deaf to our own deafness inside of that. I hope that helps, or at least gives you a little bit of clarity about why people who sold you and convinced you and had you believe, and it felt really real to you in a way that was like genuine, that you were in a real loving relationship, why they can just walk away and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. If you have any questions, ask. I'm open to, if you have some more inquiries around that, or if you want to know a little bit more nuance.